Hi, I'm Matt, and on today's Matt's World DIY, let's make this mummy cake. It's fun, it's easy, and it's super spooky. Let's get to it. We're going to get construction underway to make this mummy cake. I've had my cake layers chilling in the refrigerator. They've been chilling in there for, an hour or 2 hours, so they're really cool to the touch. That's the best way to frost a cake, is if it's nice and chilled. In the construction of my cake, the base layer is just going to be one layer. And then I'm going to take these two 6-inch rounds and half them, so they're going to be 4 layers high. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to push this guy aside, get out my little turntable, and take one of the layers, place it on the turntable. It's centered, and I have a bread knife, and I'm using this to cut evenly down the middle, across the middle, horizontally, so that I can have a nice flat layer to work with. Not quite there yet. There we go. And there we have 2 nice small rounds, and they're nice and level. Try that again. These are going to be the topmost layers of this cake. Obviously, they're not going to be under that larger layer. That would be kind of super crazy. And I would have to have super mad skills to be able to do that. Okay, this one's a little less delicious strawberry. A little less successful, but it's good. It's good. Okay, so now that I have my 6-inch layers halved, I'm going to do the next special thing, which is hollowing out. I really just need to decide which layer I want to have as my top layer, and I'm going to use this one as my top layer. I will use my biscuit cutter here, go in the center of it, and just push down, turn, and now I have like a big donut and a smaller center. Yesterday I made this cake yesterday, and I used those little ones to make like a smaller cake, a smaller 3-layer cake. It was kind of cool, and I made it happy. I put sprinkles on it, so that was nice. Okay, we have number 2. That's number 3. So we have all 3 of our hollowed out layers. So you could take a spatula, you can plop frosting on that way. You could take an ice cream scoop, which is kind of cool, and drop frosting on your cake this way. I'm doing it like that just to get a start. Again, I need something to put this on. There we go. Now I'm okay. I'm okay now. It's all good. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and start smoothing that around. And again, this isn't going to be the pretty part, but it's just enough to get some coverage, some frosting coverage on your cake. Okay, now for the sides, I'm going to put some more frosting on the top and then push it down around off the sides. There we go, that's what I'll do. Okay, and I want to pull this off of here. All right, I cleared off the excess from the back of my spatula. I'm going to go here and then push it around the sides. And again, this is going to be covered by another layer of frosting altogether. I'm probably going to do a chocolate frosting to cover the base. That'll look like it's like the earth. So there's no real need to be super duper careful with this. Oh, there's no crumbs on it. Great. I'll do this some more. There we go, and I'm going to use my spatula to just kind of do a little flattening here. And I'm going to not use a bench scraper, but just the edge of this to do the sides. This looks good. Come around, pull the edge over or under, and we're good. Okay, so that looks good for our first coat on the base of the structure. Next, we're going to start adding our hollow, smaller layers. So I'm going to take one of these. I will place it in the center here. And you want to make sure, if you're doing this cake, have a good coating of frosting there to serve as a barrier between the gel that is going to be filling this and the cake, because if you don't, then the gel is going to start seeping out of the bottom of this and maybe into the cake, and then you end up with this big soggy cake. Coming around, rotating, and this is like more than just a crumb coat. It's a lot of frosting on here, but it's coming along nicely. I got enough on there so that I could pull it down around the sides as a rough crumb coat, because we'll put it in the fridge to chill, then it'll be easier to manipulate afterwards. And I'm going on the inside too, because I want to really get a wall of frosting in there to prevent any kind of seepage. So here we go. That is nice, real nice. We've come to the moment we get to put our top one on, our top layer on. So, oh, but we can't do that until we fill it, because we have to fill it first. So let's make some filling. So before you put your top layer on this cake, you need to create a filling that's going to kind of ooze out as that first slice of cake is cut. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use this seedless raspberry organic jelly. Is it jelly? It's just a fruit spread. This particular one tastes so good. Whatever you do, if you decide to go with blackberry or raspberry, whichever flavor, just strain the seeds out if you haven't already purchased it as seedless, but go seedless, it's the best. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this up and then add just a little bit of food coloring, not too much, because you add too much food coloring, it changes the taste of things and it's not that great. But I want it to be like red and kind of bloody. And then I'm also going to add some cranberry juice to it, just to kind of help liquefy it a little bit more and reduce some of that gelatin that is keeping this in a kind of an intact state. So I'm going to put the majority of this. I found out yesterday, you think you have enough and then you don't. So I'm putting the majority of this into the bowl, and you kind of have to figure out what is the volume of these 3 stacks of cake. That's the volume of liquid you're going to need to fill the inside of the cake. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to get a whisk to help me out with this, because this is not going to be 100% effective. Oh, yes, much better, much better, much better. Okay, so I'm mixing that together. You see already how it kind of is coming together, but it's still very jelly-like. And it's not really like a bloody look that I want. So I'm going to put about 1, 2, 3 drops of red food coloring in. I'm going to mix that up and watch how it changes. You can see on the edges already how it's changing color. Looks really cool, really nice, really nice. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of this juice just to kind of help liquefy it a little bit more. You don't want it too liquidy, because then if it's too liquidy, you compromise the cake, and so that's not good either. Yesterday what I did was I heated it up on a pan on the stove, and came together pretty well. I still want this a little more red, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to do 2 more drops, 1, 2 of the food coloring to get this where I want it color-wise. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this in the microwave for a little while, and let it heat up, and then stir it. I'm not going to boil it in the microwave. I'm not going to let it get that hot. So let me do that and I'll be right back. So I've had this in the microwave for just a few seconds, maybe 20 seconds, 2 different 10-second bursts. And it helped loosen it up a little bit more, which is great. And I want to show you how it looks like as a pouring kind of thing. See how it kind of, you don't want it super liquidy, but it does help pour a bit. And you want to get it to where you can do like a trail left on the back of your spoon. So that's good. You're not going to want to fill your cake with a hot gel type of substance. So let this cool down before you get the cake out and do that. While I've been doing this, I've had the cake in the refrigerator. I want to keep it as cool as possible, cold as possible, because that helps in the frosting stage of decorating the cake. So it's in there right now. I'll let this cool a little bit, then I'll bring the cake back out and we'll start filling it up and then going to town. So I've taken the cake out of the refrigerator. It's nice and cold, and the gel has been chilling as well. Not in the refrigerator, just kind of at the room temperature. I'm going to use my big spoon I was using for my frosting, and I'm going to help fill the void here with this gel. If at all possible, try to save some so that you can use it for decorating on the top of the cake, because there's some special plans we have for things like eyeballs and the mouth, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have enough to be able to do that, so I'll just make another batch of this. I have some more of those preserves left over. So now I already have some buttercream in the piping bag. I'm just going to use it right now to fill this void up. And what we don't want is the center of our cake sinking down into the middle. So this will help, number one, it'll help create a barrier, and number two, it'll help support the top of the cake. I'm going to take the very top of my cake with my pretty layer and press that down. And I'm going to use this opportunity right now to try to make sure everything looks level and centered. It's a little high on that side, high on that side. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to finish up my crumb coat and then get it back in the fridge. I decided that the amount of buttercream that I have left is not going to be enough to decorate the whole cake. So I'm turning this into a chocolate version, but you must sift your cocoa before you put it into this, because you'll have clumps, it will not be tasty, and that's a disaster. So what I did was I took a few of these spoonfuls of cocoa powder, put it in my little sifter, in my sieve, and sifted it into the existing buttercream. And now it's going, as I mix that in, it's going to be super divine. Be right back. I have my chocolate buttercream in a piping bag. There's no tip. I'm just going to put I just want to put frosting on this cake. So there doesn't need to be any kind of pattern or anything pretty. So I'm just going to put it in here and roll it around. Just getting a good amount of frosting on the cake. Let's take it from this side so you might be able to see. Okay. I think that looks good. I'm just going to create an oval shape on the upper part that's going to be black, and then the white eyes are going to go inside of it. So just doing an outline first. Then I'll fill that in like that. Take my spatula and flatten it out, but not push it down too much. So now I'm going to make the eyeballs. I'm putting them 2 white eyeballs on top of the black oval part. I'm going to take a chopstick and wet it with a paper towel, a wet paper towel, and use it to kind of shape the eyeball the way I want. Now, the next thing I want to do is make the green part, the eyes are green, like the color part of the eyes. He's like zombie-like, so I bought, again, this is like a decorating gel, and I'm just going to put that in the center part of the white. So I'm going to add some red veins and eyes to the eyes, some red veining to the eyes. A touch on the eyeballs, the white part of the eyes. I think I'm going to put some of this in the area where the mouth goes as well. And on this side too, a little bit of, whoops, and I got into the frosting there. For the teeth, I'm going to be using these candy corn. They're like a funfetti candy corn, but I think that it actually kind of looks good like yellow, like a yellowing, rotting tooth. Now we're going to have some fun with the bandages or the ribbon tip. I don't know the number on this tip, but it's one with the wide side and a narrow side. I think this is used for making leaves and things. All right, it's time to make some dirt. We're gonna make this mummy look like he's coming out of the earth. So I'm going to take about 4 chocolate sandwich cookies, put them in a baggie. We don't need a lot because it's just around the base of the cake anyway. I'm gonna take my handy dandy rolling pin and smash away. So there you have it, the perfect cake to bring to your Halloween party. It looks like a mummy coming out of the earth, and he's got this red goop spilling out as that first slice is cut. Hopefully it'll be a big hit at the party. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.